Welcome to the deep dive. We grab a load of sources, pull out the really important stuff, and lay it out for you so you get well-informed fast. Today, we're looking at something we all deal with everyday road rules, safety measures. But we're going beyond just, the what. We want to unpack the whys. Why are things done this way? Hopefully you get some insights, maybe drive a bit safer, feel more confident. Our sources.
Well, we've got a bunch of questions here from the UK driving theory test. But look, this isn't about cramming for the test. No, we're using these questions to find the practical wisdom underneath, turn test fodder into real-world understanding, get those aha moments.
Exactly. It's not just memorizing answers, it's understanding why the rule is there in the first place. We'll try and connect those little details, things you might not think twice about, to the bigger picture. Road safety, how we communicate on the road, personal responsibility, building that deeper grasp.
Okay then, let's get into it. First up, road hazards and conditions. You sometimes see motorcyclists, especially when it's wet, sort of weaving around drain covers when they're turning. Why do they do that?
Yeah. It's a classic example of how varied the road surface can be. Metal covers, like drains or manholes, they become incredibly slippery when wet, almost like hitting a patch of ice for a motorbike. It drastically reduces grip right when they need it for cornering. So yeah, it's a major skid hazard for anyone on two wheels.
Right.
And it really highlights how all of us, car drivers included, need to be constantly aware of the actual surface we're driving on. It changes.
Good point. Something easily missed. Okay, sticking with tricky conditions. Snow, ice. What's the absolute key thing to remember?
Gentle inputs. Everything, braking, steering, accelerating, it all needs to be smooth, really gentle. Any sudden moves can break traction and then you're skidding. It's all about anticipation and being fluid.
And that links back to braking gently, giving yourself loads of time, because stopping distances shoot up, don't they?
Oh, massively. Can be 10 times further on snow or ice, 10 times.
Wow.
So yeah, gentle and early. It forces you to completely rethink your driving style based on the conditions. Adapting is crucial.
Okay, now a different kind of hazard, more common in cities. Trams. What's the fundamental thing about trams that affects other road users?
Well, the key thing is they're fixed to rails. They physically cannot steer around anything.
Right. No avoiding action possible from their side.
None at all. So the responsibility, the entire burden of avoiding a collision falls on everyone else. Cars, cyclists, pedestrians. You have to stay out of their path proactively. It's fascinating how understanding the mechanics of different vehicles is just so vital for sharing the road safely.
Definitely. Okay, let's shift gears. From hazards on the road to your vehicle becoming a hazard. Breakdowns. Say you break down on a normal two-way road, not a motorway. You've got a warning triangle. Where exactly should you put it? And crucially, where should you never use one?
Right. The standard advice is at least 45 meters. That's about 150 feet behind your vehicle. Gives drivers coming up behind plenty of warning. But the big never is motorways. Absolutely do not use a warning triangle on a motorway.
Why not?
Far too dangerous. Walking back down the motorway, placing it, retrieving it later. High speeds make it risky for you and ineffective for others. On a motorway, the procedure is different. Get to an emergency area or the hard shoulder if possible, and always use the emergency phone there. Don't rely on the triangle.
Makes total sense. So sticking with motorways, you've broken down on the hard shoulder, maybe you got assistance, fixed the issue. Now you need to rejoin the main lanes. What's the safe way to do that?
You need to use the hard shoulder like an acceleration lane. Build up your speed before you signal and move out.
Get up to speed first.
Yes. Aim to match the speed of the traffic in the left-hand lane as closely as possible. If you think about the bigger picture, it's all about minimizing disruption and risk on a fast road. Merging smoothly without forcing others to brake suddenly keeps everyone safer.
Okay, and what about those emergency refuge areas you find on smart motorways? You pull in, sort things out. What's the one thing you absolutely must do before you drive back out?
You have to use the emergency telephone provided there. That's non-negotiable.
And why is that so critical?
Because you're contacting the control center. They need to know you're about to rejoin. They'll give you the all clear, make sure it's safe. They can even set overhead signals to warn approaching traffic that you're pulling out. It's part of that coordinated safety system. Don't just pull out when you think it's clear.
Right, using the system that's there to help. Good. Okay, let's move on to the visual language of the road. Markings, signals. This is where it gets really interesting, sometimes quite subtle. Those school keep clear markings outside schools, we all know them. But what's their specific primary safety function?
It's all about visibility. Keeping that area clear ensures that children crossing the road can see oncoming traffic, and, just as importantly, drivers can see the children. It creates an unobstructed zone right where kids are most likely to be crossing, often unpredictably. Simple marking, vital purpose, protecting vulnerable road users.
Makes sense. Okay, how about advanced stop lines for cyclists?
Yeah.
The box at traffic lights with the bike symbol. You're driving up to lights, they go amber just as you reach the first white line. What's the correct procedure?
Okay, the rule is stop at the first line if you can do so safely when the light turns amber. But if you've already crossed that first line, perhaps you couldn't stop safely, then you should stop at the second line, the one at the front of the cycle box.
Okay, so you might end up in the cycle box in that specific scenario.
Exactly. It's about stopping safely before the junction itself while still acknowledging the purpose of the box for cyclists when the light was green or turned red.
Got it. And yellow box junctions, those crisscross grids, they can cause chaos. When is the only time you're allowed to actually stop and wait inside one?
The only exception is if you're turning right and your exit is clear, but you're stopped by oncoming traffic. That's it.
So waiting for a gap in the traffic coming towards you, if you're turning right.
Precisely. Any other time, you must not enter the box unless your exit road is clear. Otherwise, you risk blocking the junction for traffic going in other directions. It sounds simple, but sticking to it is crucial for keeping traffic flowing, especially at busy times. Prevents gridlock.
Right, don't block the box.
Okay.
A quick one. Flashing amber beacon on a moving vehicle, what's that telling you?
Slow-moving vehicle ahead. Simple as that. Could be a tractor, a road maintenance truck, maybe an escort vehicle for a wide load. It's a heads up.
Yeah.
Be prepared for something traveling much slower than the normal traffic speed. Be patient. Be cautious passing.
Good. And finally in this section, how does a police officer in a patrol car signal for you to pull over and stop?
The standard procedure is they'll flash their headlights, then put on their left indicator, and then they'll likely point or gesture towards the left, indicating where they want you to stop safely.
Headlights, left signal, point left, clear sequence.
Yep, designed to be unambiguous.
Okay, let's pivot now to driver responsibility, looking after your vehicle, that sort of thing, away from the immediate driving task. First, a practical tip. Deterring car theft. What's a simple, fairly cheap thing you can do?
Etch your vehicle's registration number onto all the windows.
Etching the windows. How does that help?
Well, two main reasons. First, it makes the car less attractive to thieves who want to sell it on quickly. They'd have to replace all the glass to get rid of the identity, which costs time and money, reducing their profit. Second, it makes the car much easier for the police to identify if it is stolen and recovered, even if the plates have been changed. It's about making it a less appealing, more risky target.
Clever. A bit of proactive defense. All right, vehicle maintenance. The MOT test. For a brand new car bought in the UK, when does it need its very first MOT?
First MOT is due when the car reaches 3 years old.
3 years. And after that?
Annually, every year after the third birthday. It's there to ensure vehicles meet basic safety and environmental standards throughout their life.
Right. Now, back to communication on the road. Let's say you intend to turn right at a junction ahead. Why is it so important to get into the correct lane or position and to do it early?
It's all about signaling your intentions clearly and early. Moving into the correct position well in advance tells everyone behind you and potentially opposite you what you're planning to do.
So it's like a nonverbal signal before the indicator even goes on sometimes.
Exactly. It gives other drivers much more time to anticipate your move and react safely. It avoids those last-second swerves into lane, which can be really dangerous. Predictability is key.
Makes sense. Okay, final point, and it's a critical one. Alcohol and driving. Imagine you're invited for a pub lunch. Nice idea. But you know you absolutely have to drive later that evening. What's the only safe approach regarding alcohol?
Don't drink any alcohol at all. Zero.
Not even one. Not trying to calculate if it'll be out of your system.
No, it's just not worth the risk. Alcohol affects everyone differently, and it can linger in your system for hours. Even a small amount, well below the legal limit, can impair your judgment, slow your reactions, affect your coordination. Why take the chance?
Yeah.
This really raises that important point about always prioritizing safety over, social convenience or guesswork about limits. When driving is involved, the only safe amount is none.
A very clear message.
Yeah.
So there we are. We started with some driving theory test questions, but I think we've really unpacked a lot more. We've dug into the why behind rules for hazards, emergencies, road signs, and driver responsibility. Hopefully it's been a useful shortcut to understanding things a bit more deeply.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating, I think, is seeing how all these seemingly small rules fit together. They're part of this complex system designed ultimately to keep us all safer on the roads. Understanding why they exist empowers you as a driver. It's not just following rules blindly, it's actively participating in that collective safety effort. And it's a reminder that learning to be a better driver, it never really stops.
That's a great way to put it. It
Yeah.
really gets you thinking, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, how many other everyday rules, things we take for granted outside of driving, have their own surprising, crucial why hidden beneath the surface? What else could we understand better if we just took the time for a proper deep dive? Something to ponder.